Today is Sunday, February 21st, and I'm doing a video on my dosing unit I'm using to dose refoundation A, B, and C, which is calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium. This is my first attempt at dosing. I've never done it before. I read a lot of reviews on the Bubble Magus, the what's it called, from Vertex, forgot the name, Libra, I think. And then you have the one from Neptune, Dose. And I decided to go with this one because it was probably somewhere in the middle between all of them, and I didn't want to go too high because I'm new at this, and I didn't want to go too low because I'm afraid of overdosing. And with these chemicals, you have to be careful and dose accordingly to what your tank specifically needs. If you do overdose, you might get a crash, and if you underdose, your corals will wither away, as I figured out very soon. Returning back to the unit I'm using here, it's called the Kamoer 3-channel, and you have 4 little buttons here: the up, down, the set, and escape. It's pretty straightforward. It was pretty daunting to me to dose at first. Still probably is, but I'm getting the hang of it, getting my feet wet, and I'm dosing at the minute calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium. And these 3 lines, I decided to go with the black tubing, so no light will penetrate and you won't get any bacteria in there. And they're a little more expensive because they're for CO2 lines, I think they were, the lady told me. And they're a little bit more rigid than your more regular tubing like this. They say it's recommended to use them, so I went ahead and did it. To setting the, sorry for the shaky hands here. Let me try to get this guy straight here. Yeah, here we go. So for setting this up here, you would just this here is automatic dose. That's what the A stands for. This is the time. They have a 24-hour format, so that's the only option you have. You don't set it to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It comes 24 hours. That's the way they do it. One option. And then P1 stands for pump 1, which is this one here, and they're all labeled, as you can see right here. And it'll come on at 12 o'clock, and it'll work. You know, it will turn on to work for like 1 second, which is 1 millimeter. I did calibrate these, which they recommend to do once you get it out of the box, even though it does come calibrated for the amount of fluid you'll be dosing from the factory. But just to be safe, I did the calibration with a graduated beaker and confirmed the amount, which I'll show you guys in a minute. What you go about doing, setting it first time, you would go to set, and then you have, these are the setting menus, and then you have manual dose, adjustment dose, program, and options. So if you want to do manual dose, that would be just for, like, if you want to turn this on and, you know, just set it, you just press this button and hold it in, and this will work. It'll ask you for which pump you want to do, like this, pump 1, manual dose, and then you choose pump 1, pump 1, 2, or 3. So if you push this button, set, you choose which pump number, and just hold this in, and you'll just do it manually as you need. Which I don't think you'll be doing that, since you have, that's what you got the auto dose unit for, to do the dosing for you. But if you ever do feel the need to do it, you have that option. And to go back, you just press ESC. And going on to the next one here. There you go. Okay, so we go to number 2. That was number 1. Number 2 is adjustment dose. Adjustment dose I haven't used yet, to be honest with you guys. but I didn't use it. I don't know what it's for. I'm not gonna pretend I know, but I'm assuming you adjust the dosage without reprogramming your dosing, which you already preset, if that makes any sense. But like I said in the beginning, I haven't used it. I don't really know how it's used. So if you want to read more into it, I'll try to make another video once I read the manual. What I did is I went to program. Well, you have here program. After programs comes options. Let's go back. Programs. If you go to program, you want to program to say pump 1. So you have a mode. You have mode 1, which is auto. So you have auto dose or custom dose. You could dose your custom dose. You set it here, and that's the only options they give you. And auto dose is which it automatically doses itself on a specific time and amount that you set it to. So I usually use the auto dose. And then you choose the pump number you want. I set to 1. And then the time span, I set it from 12 to 24. So that'll be the time span. 12 a.m. to 24 hours. 24 hours being midnight. For 12 a.m. to 12 to 24 hours, which would be midnight. But from 12 to 12. You could set it anytime you want. So I set mine to 12 to 24. And then you would set it with this button here. And then this is where you set the time, the format. Not the format, but pump 1. I set mine from 12 to 24. Just gonna go through it. Then the amount of liquid you want. And you would go up or down. And mine is at 1 ml per day. How many times per day? 1. You could set more if you want. And then you go to your settings. See, that's auto dose. Time span, it gives you the options. That's it. And time span from 12 to 24. Dosing 1 millimeters. Times, how many times per day? 1. Delay, you have a delay feature. If you dose calcium at 12, and if you dose alkalinity at 12, the computer won't allow it. I set the delay for, let's say if I dose calcium, there's a delay for not dosing the alkalinity. Let's say if you have already alkalinity, it'll wait 20 minutes for the alkalinity to be dosed. The computer does it automatically, so the chemicals won't interact with each other in the water column. So that's a nice feature. You don't have to set the time. You just tell it what do you want to dose, when do you want to dose, and it'll automatically know. And no two pumps will ever dose at the same time within that delay period. Cycles is within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I chose days. See, that's delayed. Let me go back. The cycle, this gives you could automatically dose like every other day, and those are the days of the week. The numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So if you ever want to choose, let's say, you could choose either interval days or days of the week. It's just the same thing. Just interval means how often do you want to dose, and then days of the week is a little bit more, makes more sense to me. So if you want this day not to dose, let's say this one here, you don't want it to dose, you would put that X. If you don't, just leave it. If the number appears, it'll dose that day. If you don't want to dose that day and want to go to the next, so forth. Okay, so yeah. And then you click it, you set it back. And I set it to dose every day. So that's a cool feature to do. If you want to do the other one, the interval, it'll tell you to it'll just tell you dose every 1 day, every other day, every 3 days, every 4 days, every 5 days. every 20 days, every once a month, or whatever you guys want to do. So it's a nice feature, very nice. So if we're okay with the settings, so if you're okay with that settings, that's it. So 12 to 24 is good for me. Amount of millimeters is 1 millimeter per day. 1 millimeter times per day, 1. Delay for the pumps not to work at the same time would be 20 minutes, which is more than sufficient for me. And the cycle, I want it to dose every day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's it. And then just escape to go back to the pump. And then it shows you the automatic is for A, automatic dose, the time, peak pump 1 is the next pump that'll come on at 12 o'clock for 1 second, which is 1 millimeter. So I know I talked a lot. Hopefully it makes sense what I said. To calibrate, I'll show you guys. You go here to manual dose, options, and then you have, that's the serial number, which you don't want to mess with. The date and time, which you set first time when you get it. Channels is the 1, 2, and 3 when you get a new unit, or the slave unit as they call it. Slave unit they call it, which is the other 4 pumps with no computer thing to program. You go here to set up the other ones. Calibration is here, so you go to here to calibrate your liquid. You get a beaker, you set start calibration, and it'll dose for 59 seconds or 50 something seconds, I forgot. And it'll tell you how much it thinks it dosed, and you confirm it with the graduated beaker, which tells you in millimeters how much liquid is in that vial or beaker, whatever you have. And if it's wrong, you just put the right amount that's in there, and it'll put that into its system and knows how much liquid it's dosing correctly. And then it has a refill reminder. So if you ever have like a container, you set the amount of fluid that you have or you placed, and it'll give you a reminder to start beeping and remind you to refill your liquids, whatever you're dosing. So that's a pretty cool, neat feature too. It's a pretty cool unit. This company, the difference between the Bubble Magus and this one, I've never used the Bubble Magus, but believe me, I did a lot of comparing online videos, people who bought them and people who purchased them and gave their opinions. I advise you guys to do your own checking out YouTube videos and seeing which one is right for you, but this is the one that I like, so I went with it. I purchased this from Marine Depot, and they're pretty cool. They specialize. Kamoer is, if I'm not wrong, from Hong Kong or China, I forgot exactly, but it's a pretty well-known name. They specialize only in these little motors, and the main difference between this one and Bubble Magus, which is pretty widely known, is the motor. The motor on the Bubble Magus, when this thing turns, it's pretty loud. The Bubble Magus is pretty loud. This one here, that's not the case. This thing here is just dead silent. Dead silent. You could barely hear it, and I love that. I don't want any noise coming more than what I have for my tank already, because it's in my living room. And if you're looking for the same thing, I suggest you look this one up and see if it's right for you. Yeah, they call this the master unit, if that was confusing for me, and the slave unit. Slave unit would be the same box like this, but it has 1, 2, 3, 4, and it has nothing on top or below, or nothing like to program it. You program it with this one here, so that's the slave. Those are another 4 different elements. So pretty cool thing to have if you have an aquarium. Keeps your water parameters in line, and you should look into it. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and comment if you have any opinions or any comments or your experience with these kind of pumps. People like me, when I was purchasing this, was trying to look up review units, and you rarely found them. So this helps out people who are watching these videos to make a good decision. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and thank you for watching. That's all I could say. Thanks.